In today's lesson, we're looking at cropping and masking images in both Google Slides and Google Docs. So I've got an image of a corgi here. If you remember from the previous lessons, it is a transparent image, which means it's great for layering. But what I want to do today is crop the image. So if I select the image of the corgi, you'll see this little symbol here. If you press on that, it means you can crop the image. So I can drag from the side. So if I want just the corgi's head, I can drag it just so I have the head in the picture, and I've cropped it just to that. But what is a great feature in Google Slides and Google Docs is that you can actually crop the image into a shape, which is called masking. So we go back up to the crop symbol here, and then on the right of the crop symbol there is a little arrow. If you press on the arrow, it gives you the options of all these shapes. If you select one of these shapes, it masks the image. So the original image is still there, but it will be cut into that shape. So if we start with the circle or the oval, you'll notice it now cuts our image into that shape. Now, you can see that it's in the shape of a circle, however, it's cut off part of the ear, which I don't want. So if we want to change that, if we double click on the image, the black box will come up and we can drag our image into the blue circle. So I'm going to move it until the dog's in the center of the circle. And now it's back into the circle, and then I can resize to make it smaller. Now this is great for design. Make your images stand out. It's also great for when you start to layer the images. You can also add a border to the shape so you can actually see the circle shape if it's transparent. So if you just go up to borders and then select one of the borders, so you'll get the shape of the circle as well. Now there are lots of different shapes that you can use, not just circles. You can use any of the ones from the list. So there's quite a few in here, even using arrows as well. So what I'm going to do is show a great example of how you could use this, or students could use this tool or feature in the classroom. And one way could be annotating an image or labeling parts of an image, which could be the materials or the anatomy. So I have the image of the dog, and I want to label some of the parts of the dog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my original image. I'm going to copy it and paste another image. So I have two. I'm going to make this one smaller, a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to cut this out or mask it in the shape of a circle. Now what I want to do is I want to label the dog's nose to start with. So I want to have just the dog's nose in the circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the dog a lot... I'm going to leave the circle the same size. I'm just going to make the dog bigger. Move it over here. So I'm going to drag the dog to the center. I'm going to make the dog bigger, so I'm going to drag the blue, pop the nose in the middle. I'm going to make this smaller again. So I want this little circle to be just of the dog's nose, like a zoomed in picture of the dog's nose. So I'm going to tap again, make this image much larger. Okay, this might take a couple of steps. You could also insert a different image of a nose, or you could use the same image. Go again until I get the nose just inside the circle. So I'm getting closer there, might make it a little bit smaller. Alright, so I've a little bit closer there. Now I'm going to add a border to my circle. And now I can actually label the dog's nose. So I can actually add a line, select one of the purple dots and then drag it to the dog's nose. Now I could also actually label it and write nose as well, but you could use this for materials of an object. And I can repeat this process for other parts. So if I want to copy that and paste it, but this time, instead of the nose, I might want to do the dog's eye. So again, make this bigger. Could make that bigger again. Okay, so I have my eye, and same thing, going to go to the line, add a line, one of the purple dots, and then drag it to the eye. And then I can also add text next to each of the images, but this is a great tool that students can use to label different objects or whatever they're learning. It could also be used to list materials that they're using in a design process. Now we can also use different shapes, so it doesn't just have to be circles. So here we have a basic life cycle of a frog, and this is a great way to use the masking tool but with arrows. So this one, select arrow to show the changes. So if students want to note the changes in something, they can mask an image into arrows. Okay, and there's different types of arrows, so if you want to go in different shapes, I can do that as well. And again, just like before, if you want to make the image move to the center, you can just double tap and drag it to make it fit the right spot. So that's a couple of ways that you can use the masking tool, and you could use that for your own design purposes, or students could use that in their own work. Now, one of the challenges is using these tools in Google Docs. So if I go to Google Docs, this is what we were looking at last week, and I take my image, and I'll take my image up here, and I want to crop the image of the students. If I go to the crop tool, you notice the crop tool's there, but there's no option or drop down option for the masking. So if we go back to Google Slides, you'll see when I click on here, there's an arrow and it says mask image. On Google Docs, there is no option for that. So how do we do the same thing on Google Docs? A little similar. If we go to insert and then go to drawing, new drawing, we're going to paste our image in here. And then we're going to select, you'll notice that the mask image option is in the drawing section. So we can do it in here. So same thing, we go shape, I'm going to create a circle. For them to fit in, it's create an oval. So I'm going to make that into the shape of a circle. Now we're going to add a border. So you could even create a digital sticker. So I could create a dotted line as a border. I'm going to make the border a bit thicker. And you can also add word art here as well. Now remember, like we said last week, that whatever you do create in here will be one image. So when you export it, this will be one image and you won't be able to change it without going back and editing the original version. So I'm going to create so I've got my little sticker here, I've got the little tag underneath, save and close, and then you'll see my final image. So you can use the masking tool in Google Docs as well. However, you do need to go through insert drawing. You won't be given the option otherwise.